And welcome to the Breakin Broncos podcast. I am unsure where my co-host is. If he pops in, then I will go ahead and bring him in. I'm not sure if he got the email I sent earlier. We had some StreamYard issues this weekend. I want to apologize now that I can finally get live, but we did not have Sasquatch Says or Nug Life for the simple fact that StreamYard was broken. I don't know what happened. I had to end up emailing tech support last night. Unfortunately, they don't have tech support on the weekends, so I was completely screwed. They did something on their end this morning. I got it back about noon, so I wasn't able to send Dylan the link with the rundown like I normally do. So I have a feeling he didn't get my second email. Um, I don't have any text message or anything from him. So again, he should be getting the notifications that we're live though. So he should know we're live. Hopefully he'll see that. He'll go into his email. He'll get the link. If not, if you pop in on here, my guy, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to resend the link. But as of right now, it's just me. Hopefully we'll get a second voice in here. Um, and we can have something other than me talking and get over these technical difficulties. But let's go ahead. Enough of that. Let's talk about the Broncos because finally we have some good things to talk about. The Broncos finally won, snapped their losing streak, and beat a team they should have beat for the first time this year. The other two wins they had were against teams that people were questioning whether or not they could win, and then all the rest of the losses were against the teams they were supposed to just mollywop. Well, that is the weirdness that is 2021 in the NFL. Almost nothing makes sense at this point, but we're going to do our best to make it make sense for you all. So we finally have some insight on what happened to Russ and why he went so bad before they finally sat him down last week and gave him a week to rest. That was able to give him some revamp and let that Wolverine blood take effect so he could go out there and beat the Jaguars in London, and was the first ever win by the Denver Broncos in London. You're welcome, Broncos country. Russell Wilson got that monkey off your back as well. So, what I'm talking about is an insider for Mile High Huddle went and did some deep dive and finding out why the offense has struggled so much with Russell Wilson at quarterback after the injury. Well, it's exactly what we told you all. I will put the link to the article in the description later. I forgot to do it. Sorry, but it'll be there later, so y'all can go ahead and take a look at it. But essentially, the gist of it is that ever since he had that issue, he had that tear, his throwing to the left side of the field has been abysmal, well below his career averages. And that makes complete sense when you think about the fact of how much more he would have to contort his body and use that injured throwing shoulder on those throws to the left. He's a right-handed quarterback. When you think about that, he's sitting like this. He's got to come all the way over with like this and is pulling on that muscle every time he throws to the left. But when he throws to the middle of the field or to the right, he's much more accurate. He's still below his career averages because, again, the man has a partially torn muscle in his throwing shoulder. So now think about it, throwing to the right. Not nearly as contorted. So don't hurt as much. You can get more on the ball. Throwing over the middle. Again, not ripping that already ripped muscle more than what he would like to, or anybody would like to for that matter, when it comes to having a torn muscle in the shoulder that you have to use every time you do your job. Like the absolute ignorance of people to sit here and try to say that his injury had zero impact on his play on the field are just haterific. I have no other way to describe them other than the fact that they are jealous of a man that gets a badder chick and a bigger paycheck than they do. And yes, hi to everybody. Thank you who has joined us, and a very, very happy Halloween to y'all. Unfortunately, maybe it was Michael Myers that snatched up my co-host, and we might not see him again. Yes, it was very awesome. Russell was able to win in London and had a very good game. Did he have a lights out game? No. But would anybody have a lights out game with a partially torn muscle in their throwing shoulder? I know I've been saying this ad nauseum, but until I see people start taking it seriously and actually give the man credit where it is due, he said in a press conference this past week that he felt more pain than he ever has in his life. And this is a year after he crushed his hand on another player's helmet. So you can't tell me that the man doesn't know what pain tolerance is. Because again, he's only missed, now 4 games in his entire 11-year career. So the people calling him a pansy and a wuss and all this other stuff and a loser, like, what is wrong with you people? How is it that your life is so horrible that you hate yourself and your life so much that you have to try and tear this man down on the dumbest things possible? Again, I've said this ad nauseum. You want to critique the man's play on the field, that is fine. He's had some bad moments, and as long as you keep it within context and don't go crazy, you will get no pushback from me. But when you're attacking this man's character, you're saying that he is this poser and quite possibly one of the worst people in the NFL. Okay, you are saying that he is worse than Deshaun Happy Endings Watson. You are saying he is worse than Tyreek Break My Son's Arm Hill. You are saying he is worse than an Aaron I Murder People Hernandez. Like, really think about the stupidity that is coming out of your mouth. I know it's hard for a lot of you to be self-aware and understand just how idiotic and just filled with vitriol, hate, and self-loathing that so many of you have, all because a man is a good man. Like, by all accounts, it does. You can talk about Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman not having his number. Well, how about we talk about the fact that KJ Hamler, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and several other players have Russell Wilson's number. All of this points to the fact that Russell Wilson has some teammates he likes and some he doesn't like. As every freaking human in the world has people they like and they don't like. Yes, exactly. Thank you, babe. No one ever hears bad things about Russell, so they have to make things up. That is exactly what my point is. There is nothing of substance to any of you, any of them. Not Tyler Columbus at 92.5 previously of 104.3. Not Brandon Stokely of 104.3. Not D-Mac of 104.3. Not Softy, whatever his name is, from 93.3 in Seattle. Not Mr. I'm going to be a douchebag on Twitter today. All of you are showing your true colors. And the only color you're showing is green. And that is so fitting for Seahawks fans because that's the main color of your team. Why wouldn't you all be green with envy, knowing that what you have right now is fool's gold with Geno Smith? Geno Smith is doing exactly what Teddy Bridgewater did in Denver last year. He is beating bad teams and giving idiotic fan base and bandwagoners a false sense of security that no, they didn't get fleeced, that somehow they fleeced the Broncos by taking Shelby Harris, Drew Lock, Noah Fant, a couple of first rounders and a couple of second rounders, and a third rounder. That is an absolute fleecing for a future Hall of Fame, Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning quarterback. But yet you have people sitting up here in the Northwest talking about how Geno Smith is going to take all of the things away from Russell Wilson that he deserves for giving that city the only football championship they have ever had in any level of football outside of the state championships. But again, you can't lose. You got to have at least one team from a state win the state championship. So obviously, yes, they have some state championship high schoolers, but when it comes to anything above that, they have bupkis. They have been an absolute football ghost town until Russell Wilson showed up. The man gave them a Super Bowl and missed a total of 3 games in a decade. And y'all wonder why the man wanted out? Y'all sit here and want to consternate and constantly ask, well, why did Russell want out if that's what, why wouldn't he want out? And now I can completely understand if he wants out of Denver with the way that you guys here in Broncos country have absolutely embarrassed people like me. The absolute ridiculousness that has gone on in both the local media and the local fans over this man, who again has a partially torn muscle in his shoulder and has missed a total of 1 game for you. But yet you still have the audacity to sit up here and act an absolute fool, saying the dumbest stuff, like he's a loser from your mama's couch. Are you kidding me? You are going to call a multi-hundred millionaire who's married to Sierra, to frickin' Sierra, a woman so famous she needs 1 name, just like Madonna and all the rest down the line. So she's got her own hundreds of millions. They have multiple mansions across the US that none of them cost less than $20 million. But that's the loser, not Joe Schmo on his mama's couch screaming on Twitter the day after the man wins a game that he's still trash. What are we even doing right now? All of you guys are talking about this is the worst team you have ever seen. Do we not remember just 12 months ago? Like, it's not even that far. It's not even like Russ has been here for like 5-7 years, and it's been enough time of him winning games for all of you to forget how terrible the last decade has been almost at this point. How these last 7 or 8 years have been absolutely terrible to be a Broncos fan. But because the man comes here and doesn't win every freaking game and throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns in every one of the games, all of a sudden he's a waste of time and space and he's washed up. But yet then he goes out there just 24 hours ago, lights up the scoreboard with this tying for the most touchdowns they've scored all year, and y'all are still complaining. At this point, you are nothing but a petulant child that's upset. Like, you're the kid I don't even like Harry Potter, but this I think is a perfect analogy. You're that annoying kid that got the $5,000 worth of presents, but because there was 37 instead of 40, there's a problem. That is what you all are. Y'all are that insufferable child from the beginning of Harry Potter that gets a pigtail grown on him by Hagrid. That is what all of you are. That is the best analogy I can give all of you. And I'm so over it. I'm so sick of it. I cannot take it anymore. So yes, I went hard on Twitter. Yes, I'm going hard right now. And I will continue to until all of you idiots shut up. Because it's beyond just ignoring. You can't ignore it at this point because it is literally coming from everywhere. It doesn't matter what station you turn on in the national media or the local media. It doesn't matter what thread you jump on in any social media platform. Y'all are just being nasty to be nasty at this point. There is absolutely nothing of substance behind any of your arguments. None of them. And none of you have done even the smallest due diligence that the Mile High Huddle on Sports Illustrated did just to give the basics of why that injury could have caused some issues. Nobody else. This is the only place, the only article I have found anywhere that anyone has even thought to just try and see, well, could there have been something? And they did, and they perfectly laid out a case of exactly why Russ has struggled since that injury. Because before then, again, I've said this ad nauseum, before that injury, there was nowhere in any game where you could just blame Russell Wilson. It was never his fault. It was always because of something else, whether it was running backs fumbling, wide receivers dropping touchdowns, tight ends dropping touchdowns, running backs dropping touchdowns. Yes, there are times where he missed wide open receivers, but there's also many more times where he hit open receivers and they dropped it. Okay, so there's plenty of blame to go around to everybody, and the biggest blame is to an entity that doesn't even technically exist in a sentient form, and that is the injury. That is the number one culprit of why the Broncos have struggled. If you watch that Raiders game, you could see how the team was starting to mesh and starting to get forward. That was the game they scored the second most, well, the now tied for the most points of the season. It's the only other game where they scored more than 16 points, and he ripped his muscle in the beginning of the second quarter. So he played that whole second half where he looked terrible with that partially torn muscle. And then the next week he gets a hamstring injury. So now he can't throw to the left because he doesn't have the range of motion to do it. And then he can't even escape out of the pocket really because he's got a hamstring issue. So all y'all screaming, oh, he needs to get back to being the old Russ in the mobility. Well, how are you mobile when one of the main tendons and muscles to make you run and mobile is either partially or mostly torn? So none of you have, again, any substance or any modicum of intelligentsia when it comes to talking about this man. So shut up and stop. This has just gone on way too far. Way, way too far. And I'm just done and sick of it. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you're just a Russell stan. It's like, no, man, I just can't stand when a man that's done nothing has his character torn apart for no reason. You, again, want to talk about his play on the field? Fine. Do it. Do you. Do whatever you want. And now maybe I can stop just screaming into the ether because look who showed up. He made it. You're all right, my guy. You're all right. I was actually afraid you might not have gotten my email earlier. So I'm just glad to know it wasn't my fault and it was somebody else's. So got to separate the diehard Broncos fans to the only a Broncos fan when they win. Yeah, it's infuriating. I mean, am I wrong for going off this hard on these people a day after a win? They're still jumping on this man?
No, I caught the end of it, but no, I would say no.
Yeah, like, dude, this is essentially what I've been doing, trying to kill time and hoping you would show up. Because man, I have been on it on Twitter today. I even got into it with a Seattle fan that made a comment and then tried the whole, I was being sarcastic and like, dude, shut up. No, you weren't. You just mad that I called you out and made you look like an idiot. But one thing I did want to get is like, you read this article, right? You've had time? I just want to make sure. The one about Russell Wilson's injury and why he can't throw to the left.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you agree that this is a perfect breakdown of proving what we have said since the injury?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
and also like the struggles are, I feel like the worst struggles of the offense yesterday was just the line.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was pretty productive. Minus the pick on the first drive.
Yeah, that was a bit of a harebrain, but again, everybody makes mistakes, and he made one, and then he made up for it. And that's the key. Like, if you can throw 3 interceptions, but if you throw 4 or 5 touchdowns, then hey, who cares about the 3 interceptions?
It's like with Peyton Manning, he probably threw 4 interceptions a game, but threw 4 touchdowns, so they won't talk about those picks.
Right. And so, like, it's just I don't understand. I don't understand what we're doing at this point. Like, what I was doing on earlier when I quoted that dude from 93.3 FM in Seattle, where he quote tweeted Tyler Lockett's little tweet or quote about
Yeah.
it's amazing what happens when nobody cares who gets the credit. Like, dude, he's used that so many times in his career. He got it from a Washington University coach. Like, that's where it came from. That's a quote that he took from a coach that he never even played for. He just liked the quote, so he uses it. And he's used it multiple times. And
Use that against Richard Sherman too, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, he did. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I loved it. Like, there was actually one person that I saw that said, yes, this was a direct shot at Richard Sherman, because again, that's the one person that Lockett actually used it against.
Mm-hmm.
And Lockett is also one of those teammates that has Russell's direct number. So this is something I want to talk about because nobody else has talked about it. They talked about Marshawn Lynch mentioning that him and Richard didn't have Russell's number. But what about the fact that Lockett does, Hamler does, Judy does, Sutton does? A lot of his wide receivers, offensive linemen, Garrett Bowles has his personal number.
No, Cush does.
Yeah, Cush has his personal number. I've confirmed all of these. So this isn't a question. I'm not saying that these people might have his number. They do. So it's the point I made is that, okay, y'all are pointing out that Russell Wilson doesn't like some of his teammates. Who doesn't?
Right.
Name a single player that has ever been in a locker room that had some guys he liked and some guys he didn't.
I mean, especially you could take it back to Court's rookie season when he got in that fight with Emmanuel Sanders.
Right.
The two SMU boys that should be friends.
Right.
They are now, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they got over it and moved on. But yeah, that was an alpha dog thing. And I think that's the problem with like a Richard Sherman and a Marshawn Lynch. They view themselves as an alpha. And because Russ is corny, he's a beta. So how dare the beta not give the alphas his contact? Like, that's what that screams to me.
Yeah.
Even though Russ is not a beta. If he was a beta, he'd have done rolled up and found a corner somewhere to be in the fetal position by now with the way he's been attacked.
And I mean, watching him this week is also finally nice to see them utilizing KJ.
Yes, yes.
But they need to do it more for me. They need to do it more because you can't go two times to KJ down the field.
Right. But at the same time, it's like, you got to remember Russ is hurting. Like,
yeah,
he really opened up last week. I know nobody wants to talk about it because it kills their narrative of him being a wussy little sissy beta boy.
You're playing on a pretty hurt hammy. I mean,
yeah, a hurt hammy. And he was talking about that shoulder injury was the most pain he has ever felt in his life. And again, this is a man that just last year crushed his hand on another man's helmet.
Popped it back in place.
Yeah, you
threw a touchdown pass on the next play.
Thank you. So you can't tell me he's a wuss.
No.
So if he says,
I mean, they were everybody praised him last year for that.
Right. But now all of a sudden he's weak and he's washed and he's old and he's injury prone and like, what are we even doing at this point, people?
I'll take that. I'd rather have a quarterback who's corny than a supermodel wife left him because he's playing football.
Or one that likes happy endings from random women on Instagram. Like, that's what I'm saying is, like, people are sitting here.
Or psychedelics, but I can get with that.
Yeah, Mr. Mushroom. Mr. Mushroom. Like,
hey, say what you want about Aaron Rodgers, but I'd love to do that with him.
I don't know about all that. I don't do all that. I can't go that far, man. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see how you put something that was taken out of cow crap and stick it in your mouth. Like, you can't wash it enough for me. Like, that cannot be washed enough. And then you have the people that go out there and eat them raw, like right out the, like, no, bro, what is wrong with you? No, I can't.
More potent.
I'm sorry, I can't.
More potent. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm joking.
Yeah, right. Ask Jake Plummer, he'll know.
Oh, that's right.
He's got a whole farm, bro.
Yeah. I always forgot about that.
Yep. And he's one of them that got it, the measure on the ballot that I just filled out for here in Colorado to legalize this stuff.
I don't even know if I have a ballot yet. I don't even know if I got one.
I got mine sent in the mail. Everybody that, as long as you're registered, you should have got one in the mail.
I have to check. I haven't checked today.
Gotcha. And they send you an email too. So those of you that don't know, if you live in Colorado, check your email that you registered to vote, and you should have an email saying that your ballot's on the way and with a tracking number. They give you a track, just like UPS. You have a tracking number for your ballot. So
no,
make sure you do that, because that is coming up. November 8th is election day. Again, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. Y'all know what my politics are. Y'all know how I lean. But again, I am not here to tell you who to vote for. I am just here to tell you, go out, vote. This is more important than anything this year. Go out, vote. Make sure that you are heard and you get your vote in, so that way I don't want to hear you complaining later about how you didn't get the guy you wanted and then didn't.
Oh, you'll hear me.
Well,
I mean, okay. Well, while we're on this topic, did you see this? This is funny. That with all the ballots going around in Buffalo for a city mayor, apparently the mayor is running unopposed. Really? So everybody's voting for Josh Allen.
That's great.
And then the city of Buffalo had to put out a statement saying you can't vote for Josh Allen. He's not on the ballot.
Actually, they can't say that because there's a reason for a write-in.
Yeah.
You cannot tell people
for mayor
vote for Josh.
So, but I think that's just so funny though, because there's just Josh Allen signs all around town, and it's like.
But yeah, I mean, there's a write-in for it. You can literally write Mickey Mouse if you want to. Like, they cannot tell them they can't.
Nah, dude, you see how he runs things in South Park? I don't want him running for mayor.
That's great. I want Mr. Hanky. Heidi ho.
Randy.
Randy's a good one. Yeah.
It's like Randy run it, dude.
Yeah,
with some integrity.
But yeah, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole. But yes, go out, vote November 8th. Get your ballots in. Make sure you do it. So back to Broncos. Now great. I told y'all last week I wanted 3 TDs. I know both of our
we were 17-14.
predictions were 17-14, but I said I wanted 3 TDs. Guess what Russ did for you? He got you 3 TDs. They scored 21 points. All anybody wanted to do was complain about the fact that the Broncos couldn't score 16 points. They score more than 16 points, and you still have complaints.
I mean, it was a great day. 2 picks, 3 tutties, some deep balls. Some sacks, a Nick Bonito first ever career strip sack.
Yep. Like, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. Both the offense and defense did their thing. Yes, was it a little bit closer than you would like when it comes to the Jaguar? But the Jags are not the same Jags from a year ago. They're
not the pushover Jags.
Exactly. This isn't the team that the Broncos shut out 24-0 last year. This is a better squad, and they showed that they are a better squad. They have a better defense. They have a better offense.
I mean, that defense is top 10.
Plan. Yeah, exactly. It's a top 10 defense. So the Broncos scored the most tied for the most points of the season on probably the second best defense they've faced. The best being the Niners.
And I think the Niners are still ranked 1.
I do. They're right there with Denver. They're right there with Denver.
Because who's top? Then who's 1 then? Because I know San Francisco held that for quite some time. Is that the Giants D?
I'm pulling them up right now just to see.
Because that Giants D is pretty underrated.
Yeah, number 1 right now is Buffalo.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah, that defense got me 12 points last night.
Okay, it goes Buffalo, Philly, Denver. And then Cincy and Dallas to round out the top 5. Those are the top 5 defenses. And then let's see. The Jags just dropped out of the top 10 after yesterday. They're now 14. So they're still top half of the league.
Yeah, I mean, they were still top 10 when they played them.
Yeah, they were top 10 when the Broncos started. It's just the 21 points knocked them into 14th.
Yeah, and while we're speaking of defenses too, I just hope that, because I'm playing Nika, she has one yet to play, and it's the Cincy defense. And I need them to
be her first win.
I know. I'm up by 17.
We'll see.
She's projected to get 5 points from Cincy, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's dependent. So it's the defense is the only thing she's got left, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, good luck, Nika. Maybe you'll get your first win, but Cincy would have to ball out, and they're playing Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
So there's a chance.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
there's a chance. Nervous. I know you might get robbed on. Well,
but I mean, I don't know, dude.
Mondays.
The Bills had four 4 points on their defense, and they played a hell of a game.
Yeah, I think I got 9 points from the Broncos, and they had a pretty decent game. So yeah, it's a pot. They would have to like get multiple picks and score a couple of touchdowns.
I think, and I also think that Kirk Cousins might be my permanent QB. He got me 23 points.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you at all on that one. Jalen Hurts is mine because
I need to drop Brees Hall, dude. That just hurts. That hurt me.
Dude, at least you didn't have both of your running backs get hurt.
I got Swift back, and Sanders.
Yeah,
Sanders is putting up numbers, so.
Right, yeah. So you at least got those. I'm the one that had that drafted both Jonathan Taylor and Javonte.
Hey, he had a day yesterday.
Taylor's back. Yeah, Taylor's back. He gave me a pretty good day yesterday, so I can't be too.
Dude, if only I could have that Bears running back.
I was so close. I almost beat Callie, but she's gonna whoop me.
Dude, who has Derrick Henry in our league?
Who has Derrick Henry is Sam.
Sam, yeah, 200 rushing yards yesterday.
I know. Yeah, he's had Derrick Henry for like the last 3 years straight. Like he loves Derrick Henry, which I understand. Like, I get
definitely.
It to the point.
And I mean, and with the run, and like in the Broncos run game, picking up like I did yesterday, it might be time for me to try and pick up Latavius for my flex.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Unless Tyler Lockett keeps scoring 15 points on my flex, I might.
Right, Tyler's going to be a bit hard to get off because it seems like him and Gino have developed a bit of a rapport, and with DK being a bit banged up, he's getting some extra looks.
Yeah, when you were talking about like when you went at it with the Seahawks fan, I don't know why they expected to be bad. I thought they would be pretty good because Gino's been in that system for a while.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd be terrible.
No, like I knew they could put up games.
Them being this good.
No, I could see them competing in every game they played.
Especially that defense being so young, and they were so bad last year. Like that was why I figured they would be a lot. But I'm telling you right now, it's what I said earlier. Geno Smith is doing to Seattle fans what Teddy did to Denver fans last year.
Yeah,
he is eating up these early season wins against bad teams. As this progresses on, it's going to get bad.
I mean, have they played the Niners yet? They played them once, right?
I think they played them once. Let me double check.
Because I mean, you got like two good defenses to go against, and that is the Rams. Like the Rams still have a pretty good defense. The offense just hasn't been putting up numbers. I wonder if the Rams even make the playoffs, but we'll see.
Yeah, they played the Niners once, and guess what the score was? 27-7, 49ers.
Yep.
They got dominated. And then, let's see, where was their other loss? And the other loss was against the Saints, 39-32.
Dude, how about the Saints pitching a shutout against the Raiders yesterday?
Right.
Dude, the only AFC West team to score this week was the Broncos. Granted, the Chargers and the Chiefs were buys, but then just the Raiders getting shutouts just so sweet.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at the rest of the Seahawks schedule here, they still got to play the Buccaneers. They got to play the Rams twice. They got to play the Chiefs, the Niners again. Like, there's no way you can tell me that they're winning all of those games.
No.
Or even half of them.
I mean, who do we still have yet to play from that NFC West? We still have the Rams on Christmas and the Cardinals.
Yeah, I believe the Cardinals we have here shortly.
I think they're off the bye, right?
They're right before the Rams. So we played the last two games. They're back to back, December 18th and December 25th.
Because we're on our bye week. Who do they come out with from the bye?
Tennessee.
Okay.
The number 6 defense. Like a lot of people are talking about it. They're talking about how Tannehill and that offense has looked bad and all that.
I mean, they started what's his face the other day. I forgot his name.
Yeah, they're back up because Tannehill was hurt. Yeah. I can't remember his name either. But yeah, he's
the rookie,
second year rookie player. Yeah.
I think he was the Cincy kid.
That was the Cincy kid. Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
But I think they should have Tannehill back by then. I'm confident in that. Yeah, we'll get to that, but I mean, like the breadth of the schedule, the easier part of the schedule is over. But now that this team is starting to click, looking down like towards like this rough patch of the season against these really good teams, I mean, they're going to be fighting for all of these. Now that offense is finally seeing, I mean, the line's still beat up, but watching that game yesterday, Russ was able to get out a lot of those throws really quick. I mean, look at that deep ball to KJ. That was from snap to throw under 2 seconds, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Like he just lopped it up there and let homeboy just run
And
right
like
underneath
that's credit to Russ and the receivers. Like they're finally utilizing Jerry. That's what I want to talk about. Is
Yes, they're finally utilizing Jerry. So yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
What
I
stood out
mean
that
that
worked offensively for you yesterday?
what put like Jerry in the slot yesterday was my big thing. When you put Jerry in the slot, and I mean, I still think best route runner in the league.
Yes,
And he can get that jump off so quick. You can hit that ball quick like they did with Jerry. And then utilizing him on the jet sweeps is the big one for me. Like you can start running those more because the blocking on the outside between KJ and Latavius Murray were fantastic.
Yes, I mean the running game definitely needs to step it up a bit. They got to get over that 3.5 yard average.
Yeah.
That seems to be where they're stuck at. But I think a lot of that has to do with the poor offensive line play, which I do think actually looked better once Cush got hurt and
Glasgow came in. Yeah. I
like
definitely think so.
It was almost night and day. Like especially when you also consider the fact that the Broncos are down to their third string left tackle.
And he held his own pretty well. I mean, for the most part.
Good. Yeah, Calvin Anderson did his thing. He's always been that kind of steady backup. He's not somebody you really want in there for an extended period of time. Unfortunately, he's going to be this year because Garrett Bowles is out for the rest of the season.
But now that I've seen him get more reps, you can tell he's starting to fit his like bring his own in.
Getting comfortable. Yeah, he's getting comfortable in the offense. The offensive line starting to gel. You're seeing a lot less. Like yesterday, one thing that stood out to me was the fact that there was a lot less missed assignments. Like outside of, I think there was 2 blitzes where the guy just came clean.
Yeah.
There was one where the linebacker blitzed straight up the A gap and just absolutely destroyed.
And then whenever they brought the corner around the edge.
Yes, and then the corner blitz off the edge, which that typically ends up if it's done right. They're almost the cornerback's almost always going.
You can play against the best line in the league, and if you execute it right, he'll get around there untouched.
Exactly, because I mean, just think about it. You're having one of the fastest guys on the field that's 10 yards away from the nearest offensive
against the slowest guys on the field.
Yeah, like you really think they're going to catch him?
That's going to be a back job. That's going to be a running back job. But on that play, I think that was Russ was alone in the backfield.
Yeah, it was an empty backfield. Exactly. So in that situation, it was just a perfect play call by the defense, and they got the sack and all that. But outside of those, there was never once where I just like looked at and like, why are 3 offensive linemen blocking one guy while the other guy is just unmolested to the quarterback? I did not see that at all yesterday.
And it
was just really good blitzes that were set up and perfectly timed by the defense. And the defense did what they were supposed to do. The offense just wasn't ready and prepared for it or had the guys to counteract it. And those look bad. But again, there was no just like, what are you doing kind of moments by the offensive line.
I mean, for a London game, that was pretty fun.
Yes. It was a very fun game. Like,
very good crowd, I will say.
Yeah. I know people always want to talk about, this offense isn't like who cares? As long as they score more points than the other team and the defense does its thing, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why does any of the rest of that matter? It doesn't. Get over yourselves. No. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be – they're not going to score 40-plus points every game. And
unless you're Josh Allen, Jesus.
Right. But if you look at the past Super Bowl winners outside of the Kansas City Chiefs in the last, 7 or 8 years, it hasn't been the best offense that won.
It's been the defenses. I mean, that's the case for the Patriots, definitely the Broncos, Seahawks, the Rams, the Eagles, 100%. That Eagles defense was crazy.
Yes.
The Bucks defense, although the offense was putting up points, they pitched a near shutout in a Super Bowl.
But that's the key. Like you can win a championship with an all-time defense and an okay offense. You cannot win a championship with an all-time offense and okay defense. You have to have at least a good to great defense and then just an okay offense. just one that's going to score somewhere around 20 points a game.
Right.
If you have a great defense, you only got to score somewhere around 20 points a game, which is what this Broncos team is. They score 24 points. They're going to win more than they're going to lose.
I think it was like Dungy's mentality when he was in Tampa back in the mid to late 90s. It was he didn't worry much about the offense. He knew they were going to put up maybe 20 over a little bit over 20 points a game.
Defense, running game. That's
and then you have and then you're going to let Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, and John Lynch do their thing on the field. I mean, look at the greatest show on turf. Look what they did to them in that NFC Championship game. That was a 9-6 NFC Championship game. To the greatest offense of all time.
Nobody talks about that. All they talk about is the shootout of a Super Bowl between the Rams and the Titans.
Yep.
Like, nobody wants to talk about the fact that the week before, the Rams scored a total of 9 points.
And they were all field goals.
Yes. Well, 9 points. Well, I guess you could with the safety to touchdown. So I guess good verification there. But real quick, did this win save the season? "Quote unquote" save the season.
I'm not convinced yet. I would say I'm leaning more towards it now, and the Tennessee game is what will solidify me for sure. I mean, because you got the bye week. This means you have 2 weeks to prepare for one team, and
it's 2 more weeks to heal.
And most teams that come off of the bye week tend to win. I think what's the stat? It's like 60-40 for the team coming off the bye week.
Something like that. I don't know the exact number, but it's definitely skewed way towards.
Andy Reid's like close to 100% of coming off the bye week. I think it was something crazy like that. But
yeah, it's something stupid. He's like 88% winning percentage or some stupid number like that. Yeah, Andy Reid's one, and Mike Shanahan was another one.
Yeah, I mean all the greats.
Number. Yeah, Bill Belichick, same thing. If you give a great coach 2 weeks to prepare against another team, very rarely are they going to lose.
And in this case, it's going to be
inferior roster.
Right. In this case, it's going to be the quarterback, right? I mean, like you mentioned, Russ gets more time to heal. They also get more time to game plan. Some of these linemen, I think some of the ones that were the minor ones that were just out after midway through the games of the line. Who got hurt other than Cush? There were a few more.
I don't remember any other linemen being.
I might be thinking of the Jets game.
Yeah, the Jets, they had all kinds of folks falling, but even then the Broncos.
But that's just more time to heal in general.
Yeah, no, I mean there's some other ones like Cam Fleming. He's a guy that's been out for a couple of weeks. That's why Calvin Anderson, the third stringer, is at left tackle. Baron Browning was out. Tyree Cleveland got hurt. Easting Basie got hurt. Looks like Lloyd is only he's only questionable. So it looks like the MRI and X-rays were negative. So it
which
like
is good,
Lloyd's going to miss a lot of time. But Tom Compton, a guard, has been out for a while. So yes, the offensive line for the Broncos has been decimated. Not so much yesterday, but over the.
But we saw the bright spots yesterday. I mean, my 3 bright spots on that line were Glasgow, Dalton Reiser, and Quinn Miners.
Yes, the interior of this offensive line, dude. How about poor cornerback getting destroyed by Dalton Reisner on that screen pass?
That looked like the Eddie Mack Super Bowl 32 block on the linebacker.
My favorite part was his kick out the club celebration afterwards. Like, I don't know how many people stayed on him to see that, but immediately after, that man straight went out and just like kicked out the club celebration after just destroying that man.
It's Wiggins made right there, baby.
Right. To all future cornerbacks and current cornerbacks, both at any level, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you see a 300-pound lineman coming at you,
I'm stopping.
Don't ever bend at the knees and think that you're going to stop him.
You're just going into a brick wall.
Yes, you are going to get destroyed. So if anything, make a business decision and go after his legs. Like,
right, chop him.
That's the only chance you have.
Yeah, cut him.
Chop him. Yeah, just cut him, bro. Like, don't ever sit up there and try to grown man a 300-pound lineman when you weigh all of 180 pounds. That's never going to work.
The Quinn Miners block on the I think it was the Was it the Latavius touchdown? It might have been the Melvin touchdown. One of the two. That a lot of people thought that it was the Latavius one because Quinn Miners got off to a quick jump. Everybody thought,
yeah,
but that was right. There was ball movement, and then he's going.
Yeah,
it was perfect count.
I loved the
announcer.
No, the official special. I forget his name that they have on CBS.
Oh, Gene Steratore.
Yeah, Gene Steratore. There you go. Him coming on and being like, "Hey, in real time, like, yes, if you slow it down." Obviously, Dan Orlovsky, you dipstick. Yes, it looks like he jumped off sides or, he did a false start. But in real time, when the officials actually see, because they don't have special, implants in their eyes.
Right. They don't got a chip.
Slow down.
They got a chip in their brain that can see everything.
and slow it down into slow-mo in real life. Like, they're not the Flash.
I mean, look at how many times people thought Von Miller went off sides.
I know that's exactly where I was going. Thank you for pointing that out. But it's the same thing. He got off perfectly in real time. So again, there's so many things that when you slow things down into slow motion, that you can nitpick, especially on a football field, because everything moves so fast. But yeah, to sit there and have Dan Orlovsky be so adamant and then get reality checked on national, that was just delicious to me. I loved that so much from Steratore. So Steratore, you have all of my respect for
what was the
slapping your down.
Dan Orlovsky on Twitter, the one you tagged me in with Twitch.
Oh, the Twitch where he's all, what the hell is Twitch?
Yeah. What the hell is this? That was real too, which makes
I know. Wasn't it so great?
It's great, dude, because I love Twitch.
Yeah, while we're talking about some people that are watching understand, like Dan Orlovsky was asking Twitter how he could stream the Broncos game.
No, it was the Thursday night game.
Or the Thursday night. That's my bad. He was in London, needed to stream the Thursday night game. And so somebody told him go to Twitch. And Dan Orlovsky said, what the hell is Twitch? So Twitch responded. The actual account for Twitch on Twitter responded with a picture of Dan Orlovsky from his playing days in his most infamous moment where he ran out of the back of the end zone for a safety and they captioned it with, what the hell is this?
That's their best tweet in years, dude. Because they just tweet about ruining their own website.
Yes. I mean, I was cracking up so hard. I had to tag both you and Santiago in it because I know y'all hate Dan Orlovsky as much as I do.
Oh, I sent that to my group chat because my brother, that's just his TV is Switch.
Awesome. That's great. I'm sure he had some choice words for Dio.
I had to explain it to him. He was like, who's that? And I go, the guy tweeting about trash talking Twitch is the guy 7 out of bounds.
And real quick, I'm going to put a tinfoil hat on. Like, I've had this conversation with Santiago. We're going to have it here. Keyshawn calls Dio or Dan Orlovsky Dio. And it drives Santiago nuts because he doesn't feel he deserves a nickname. And I was like, dude, think about it this way. I think it's a dig because think about Dio. What's a famous character that takes Dio and made it into a catchphrase? Homer Simpson, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, that's my conspiracy. I think that Keyshawn gave him that nickname as a joke, playing off of dope from Homer Simpson. That's my conspiracy.
It could be.
I'm just saying. That's what I believe. Prove me
wrong. Who'd you say said that?
Keyshawn.
Oh, yeah.
Give me the damn ball, man. That guy.
the one that flipped out on Gruden on the sideline. Yeah.
Yes, and also dug at Dan on live TV talking about if my quarterback ran out of the end zone, he better keep running down the tunnel because I'm gonna be chasing to beat his beep on NFL Live. National television. That was one of the greatest moments I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, did you see Marshawn? Like what we're talking about, like people cursing on air. Did you see Marshawn's first Thursday night interview?
Oh my God, yes. And then the Buccaneers thing. Oh my! Did you watch that with him where he was messing in the on the ship?
Oh yeah.
Oh my dude, they had to bleep out like every other word. It was
what did they expect?
Right? What do y'all think? Like Marshawn don't get.
But that's why I'm there.
Yes, I am there for it. I love Marshawn. Like, as much as we talked about it earlier, like, I don't really care for the way, for some of the things he said about Russell. Like, he hasn't really been one of the guys that's really been in on Russell, but he's the one that opened up the door for the, oh, go to my manager if you want to talk to me BS. But other than that, like, I love Marshawn. I am here for Marshawn at all times. But tomorrow is the trade deadline. And there has been much of a consternation. This is another thing that I've jumped on retards on Twitter for, including today, where some blue check mark decided that it was breaking news to tell all of his followers that the Giants were interested in Jerry Jeudy for the right price. No, duh. Who isn't interested in any player for the right price? Like, what are we doing at this point? Like, it's mind-boggling what some of these people want to consider as newsworthy. Like, how is telling people that team A is interested in player A for the right price? Like, how is that news? Every team is interested in every player for the right price.
Right.
But what we're going to do is we're going to give you some true rumors and things that I have verified both inside the building and outside of it, and what we would like to see. So, to be clear, there are some of these things, and we will verify what was been verified, and then other things are just going to be us opining and wanting to have happen. So, number one, are the Broncos going to trade Bradley Chubb?
I don't think so. No.
I have, again, this is one of the things that I have verified from inside the building. And this is not KJ, because unfortunately, I don't know what happened. I got ghosted by KJ. No shade, my homie. No shade, my homie. I love you. I know you're busy. So, but I had to go find somebody else because you're just not responding. If you want to come back, there's always a place for you. I just want to be clear. There's always a place for KJ here at Tay42. But you ghosted me a little bit, bud. So I had to go find another insider. And so I do. I have a new insider. This one you will not know. So I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. This source is mine. So y'all are going to have to deal with it. But I have verified. Bradley Chubb is going, no, unless somebody, like, they did give the caveat that unless somebody offers like 3 first-rounders or some stupid, like you just can't turn it down offer. Like, there's always that possibility. But nobody's going to give 3 first-rounders for a half-season rental.
Right.
Like, that's just not going to happen. And
this is what will open up a new contract for Bradley Chubb, too, with the Broncos, especially if he keeps putting up the numbers. I mean, he's well on pace to get a good deal if he keeps it up.
And that is something else I have verified, that Peyton loves Bradley Chubb, and he wants to extend Bradley Chubb. And that the reason the Broncos did not match the price of Von Miller in the offseason was simply for the fact that they wanted to make sure they had enough money to re-sign Bradley Chubb, because Chubb was going to be around a lot longer than Von Miller is, just simply because one's almost 10 years younger than the other one.
And is just dominating.
Yes. Like, so this whole consternation of like, are the Broncos going to be sellers? No. The Broncos are not sellers. Again,
and why would you blow it up? Why would you blow it up right now?
Thank you. Why would you go off and trade for Russell Wilson to only blow it all up just 7 months later?
I don't know.
Again, where are all these people getting their sources? Because again, my source confirms that Peyton has the tightest ship they have ever seen.
Oh, Jesus, dude. No, like, do you know why? I know. I love it when people be like, how is it really a tight ship? Have you heard anything? Exactly. It's a tight ship. You haven't heard shit. Nope, my bad.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
That was a good S drop. But
at least I can hold back the other ones.
Right. So I have also confirmed again. This is the second source that has confirmed it. The Broncos are interested in Kareem Hunt, but there is a bit of a problem as there seems to be a bidding war going on.
Ooh, yeah, I was gonna say if they're willing to trade a 4th for him, bro, it's gonna be a war.
Yeah. Well, the problem is people have raised up, and there's there's talk that somebody might be offering a first rounder for Kareem Hunt. Number one, the Broncos don't have a first rounder.
Right.
Number two, if they had a first rounder, the last thing you want to do is give up a first rounder for a half season rental of a backup running back. Again,
dude, if they were able to just get him for a fourth, easy, like worth everything.
Yeah, I can give you a fourth and a fifth now.
Right? I'll throw in a sixth there just for the heft of it.
Yeah, I'll give you a conditional sixth that could turn into a fifth next year.
Right
now, fourth, fifth this year, and a conditional sixth next year. Not even a problem. 3 picks, take them. Like you're not going to find a better talent at those picks than a Kareem Hunt,
unless you hit the lottery, like the one every 3 years that comes from like a 6th, 7th round. Like
Breece Hall, who was on track to be the offensive rookie of the year, was the only running back selected in the first round. So, are you telling me that at this point, you would give up more value for a Kareem Hunt,
dude, especially for that Michigan back, dude?
For Breece,
have you been watching that the back from Michigan? That kid is
Kenneth Walker,
nuts. Yes.
Talk about the one in Seattle.
No, the one in
Michigan. Talking about the one that's still in Michigan?
Yeah, the one that's still in Michigan.
Oh, okay, got you. Yes, no.
Did you watch him against? Did you see anything from the Michigan MSU game?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, dude! I don't think I've ever seen a man run a ball like that.
Yeah, and this is actually the time of year that I really start getting into college football, because this is where I start ramping up my
conference games, bowl games. We're getting to it.
Yeah, and well, it's not because I care about those things. It's because I'm getting ready for the NFL draft.
Yeah, right.
So,
but then there's just. But
I start this early, people.
The perk of it.
Early. Yeah.
The perk of it is you got to watch good football.
Yes, exactly. And that's another thing, is now you're getting all the conference games and stuff like that. So it's not Alabama versus Appalachian State.
Right.
I don't care what any of the guys in Alabama did against Appalachian State. Now I might look at Appalachian State and see what their guys did against Alabama. But again, I don't need to watch that live. I can watch that in January or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, now it's good football, and it's football I can watch. But again, it's not because I do like college football. Don't get me wrong, but NFL is my jam. And right now, yes, again, this is when I start getting ready for the NFL draft. That's all the way in May. So that's again why I am able to give y'all an entire draft's worth of content, because I take 6 months.
That's just what carries the off season.
Yes, it is.
And then once the draft's over, dude, it's just like, what do we talk about?
Right.
Like, dude, that those 2 months hurt me.
Right. So we have confirmed inside the building, and we both agree. I think I can say we both agree the Broncos should be buyers, if anything, not sellers.
Yeah.
Don't blow this thing up.
You want to be a buyer here. I mean,
yes.
There's a good shot at a trade deadline too. Like, you're not going to get some superstar, but there's some good pieces you could pick up, especially on defense too. I know there's I'm not saying like we're seeing any like Aaron Donalds out there in the trade list right now.
No, but I mean, Robert Quinn just got traded. Roquan Smith.
I mean, I would say like some of these some of these names of some good players that could be added pieces right now.
Yeah.
And even on the offensive side, there's some linemen they could trade for still. I mean, you still got some pretty late round picks where you could trade for some linemen.
I want to stop you right there, because you just brought up what I want to talk about on who I want to see, and it is a realistic one. And again, something I confirmed that they are looking into inside the building is Patriots ex-left tackle Isaiah Wynn. He's sitting on the bench now with New England for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm not in that building, and I have nothing to confirm of why he is. But it seems like the consensus is that he got on Belichick's bad side, and so now he's in the doghouse. If that's the case, the kid has been solid ever since his days at Georgia.
He is the Georgia lineman.
Yeah, he's the Georgia lineman. And he's been a left tackle his whole life. He blocked for everywhere from Tom Brady to Mac Jones, and they were almost untouched when he was in left tackle. And so if they are able to get him, like say trade him Albert O and a 4th rounder, I don't see how New England says no to that.
No.
Unless,
Bill
again,
Belichick is a master negotiator. He would take that in a heartbeat.
And he loves those mid-round picks. That's where his bread and butter is. So I say, and that's a former first rounder that you get for essentially at this point, 5th string tight end on your team, and
which that kind of sucks still, because I really liked Alberto. I liked his production he's putting up, and then I mean he was doing pretty well in the early games, and then we just didn't see him.
Yeah, but if you can get, but that's my point. Is like it's not that I don't like Albert. It's just
you could get a
guy that's
Arsenal
5 rungs down the depth chart.
Now that Dolchich is definitely tight in 1.
Yeah, at this point, it's not a question. So why not take one guy that's languishing at the bottom of a roster for another guy that's languishing at the bottom of the roster, sweeten the deal a little bit because obviously left tackle is much more valuable than tight end with a mid-round pick. I think that's a perfect fit. And Isaiah Wynn, he worked in a zone scheme in college. He's played a combo scheme in the NFL because the Patriots don't really have a zone or power scheme. They kind of mix and match. So they have a bit of a mishmash of offensive linemen at the same time. And I think Isaiah would be a perfect fit with his athleticism in this offense. And I think he would actually be the perfect replacement for Garrett Bowles. Like, I think without a doubt in my mind, he would be better than even the Pro Bowl Garrett Bowles from a couple years ago.
I'd take it.
I'm glad we're on the same page. So what is a player or a trade you would like to see? Again, I'm being clear. Isaiah Wynn, I have verified that they have interest, but I don't know how much interest, but it's just something I would like to see. So from Dylan, what would you like to see done?
Oh, I can't really think of any names off the top of my head, but I would like to see like added line, definitely added depth on the offensive line. And maybe look at a couple of corners too. Especially the injury adding up. You're out. No Ronald Darby for the rest of the season. Quan Williams is playing with a cast. Granted, he had a pick with it, playing well with it.
How about that?
Yeah, granted that. But and then
ceiling pick with a cast, with a torn ligament in your thumb and elbow.
Jeez.
And hasn't missed a game.
Hasn't missed a game. And but Robert Mathis, who I have liked, but the penalties do add up.
Damari,
I keep thinking of his dad. Yep, Damari Mathis. But I do think those PI calls do add up, and you could still look for some depth at corner because you don't have a lot of depth anymore with the injuries starting to pile up.
Yeah, I could definitely see William Jackson.
Yeah.
From Green Bay, where he's like 6th on the depth chart. Yep, Willie Jackson. I think he would be a good get. Who's that? The cornerback that used to start for the Panthers, but now is like a 4th stringer. I can't remember his name.
Oh, the one on for the Super Bowl 50 team?
No. He was taken in the 1st round a couple years ago, but he's been bypassed by a couple of guys, and I just can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up. But he's another guy I could see as a good depth piece.
Okay.
I would also like to see them maybe pull like a Stephen Weatherly trade from last year, where they go and find an extra pass rusher because of all the injuries. Barrett Browning's down, Randy Gregory's down, Chubb's starting to look a little nicked up.
Yeah, when are we going to see us Randy Gregory return?
That is a good question. I have not seen anything.
It's got to be pretty soon.
Let's see if there's anything new that's popped up. I know he was placed on IR, so that means he's out for at least 4 weeks.
And it's been quite a few weeks since we've seen him.
Let's see. Yeah, well, this at least 4 weeks. That was on October 4th. So the earliest we could see him is the game after the bye against Tennessee. So if he's feeling good, they could activate him during the bye so he could get some practice reps. So we'll know for sure. If he's activated over the next 7 days, we know he's playing in Tennessee. If he's activated after that, you might not see him until the next week against, I want to say, is it the Raiders?
Here, I can check. Raiders? I thought we played them later in the season again.
We might.
Here, one sec. I have the schedule. I'm pulling it up.
Oh, no, I was right. It is the Raiders.
Oh, it is?
Yep,
Okay.
November 20th. The Raiders. So, yeah.
So
second half of their schedule, man.
Raiders, Panthers. Okay, Panthers. Granted, that could be a close game still because they're heating up.
Yeah,
Ravens
looking good.
I have confidence in a Ravens game because that defense just likes to hit quarterbacks.
But man, Lamar is a beast, and he's having.
Then after the Ravens,
MVP.
It's freaking
the first game against the Chiefs.
We should try and get tickets for that.
We should. I've been looking. I really haven't had the money yet, but we'll be definitely keeping a look. We're trying our best to get to that game. Broncos, Cardinals, Rams, Chiefs.
Christmas Day, dude. You better not ruin Christmas.
Right. They can't ruin Christmas. And I think at that point, with the way that the Rams are dropping like flies, it may not be the same Rams team that you might worry about if they were playing them next week.
Right.
The injuries they've been piling up, especially if Cooper's out for any extended period of time. While I'm talking about it, let me see if they've got an update on Cooper Kupp.
No, they said he is expected to play Sunday. I just read that. It's just some tissue swelling in the
after
ankle.
Suffering, even though I don't think they should have had him out on the field at that point anyways, but that's...
that reminds me of like the Wes Welker when he tore his ACL in a meaningless Week 17 game.
Yep, exactly. So those are the trades that are possible, trades that are likely, and ones that we would like to see happen. Again, no guarantees that any of them will happen. We're just giving you the best information we can, including from inside the building. So again, yes, I have a source inside the building, but he's mine, and you can't have them. So
you can tell me anything.
Not on here. This goes out to everybody. But no. So just keep y'all heads up. It's a bye week. Nothing to consternate or be crazy about.
Some football's
Try
about
to
to
relax,
start.
Broncos country. Get your ish together.
You got 2 weeks.
Yeah, you got 2 weeks to get over your whatever it is that's gotten up your craw about Russell Wilson. Get over yourselves. Let's come back after the bye week as better people, better humans, better fans.
And let's travel well to Tennessee, baby.
Yes, let's turn Tennessee into Broncos country.
Because, geez, dude.
Smoky Mountains into Broncos country and take them over like we tend to take over just about every other stadium that we play in. So
I mean, look at Wembley, dude. It was just all orange.
Right.
And then like the few scattered teams that weren't playing there, but it's an NFL game, so everybody comes.
Yeah, even though the Broncos haven't played in London in how long?
Since it was the Josh McDaniels.
There you go. Yeah,
the cheating.
Josh McDaniels. The cheating scandal all the way back a decade ago. This is the first game they played and the first win in London again. Broncos country, enjoy that. But let's go ahead and, like Dylan said, let's show them that it's not just Broncos country. This is a Broncos nation, and we travel deep. So make sure you all go over there. You have 2 weeks to recover and recuperate.
Oh, those are the best weekends when they don't play on Sunday. I can relax.
Right. So relax. Enjoy your off weekend. Broncos fans, let's get ready for Tennessee. Come back with a vengeance and support this team, because if you didn't notice, this team is turning the corner. So you can either keep being the douche and get left behind, or you can get with the program, jump on this team and support them the way that you should. And let's keep chugging forward. Let's get Russ this next ring. Make sure you come back to here, as we will always be talking to your Broncos every week, Mondays. All the links in the descriptions. Make sure you go and check out the socials, like, subscribe, do all those good things, hit the red buttons, launch the nukes, clear the way so we can bring you the news the way you deserve. For the Breakin' Broncos podcast, for my co-host Dylan, and the answer is 42. Don't question the blue.